Hello, my name is Zero, and today I'll be reviewing Neoluminum Vol.2. I haven't really done reviews before. I don't know, I thought it'd be fun to try out, because this is a compilation I'm very invested in, so I thought it'd be fun to give my takes on shit. And I know I'm on this compilation, and I'm friends with a lot of people on there, but I still want to try and properly review it without, like, just saying everything's good, because what's the point of a fucking review in that case? So I'm going to try to be honest about every track, even though I'm friends with most of the people on there. So yeah, this is gonna be probably a long one because it's 25 fucking songs, and I have listened to these already. I have a VOD up by the time this video comes out, probably, with my first initial reactions on stream. So I'll probably link that in the description. And yeah, let's get into it. So the compilation starts with a fucking banger from Lumi, Cosmic Fracture. This is an amazing fucking color-based track. It's kind of a mix of like color-based and tarot in a way. It's really heavy, but really colorful and bubbly. It's super fun. It has amazing sound design. The mix is really good. I don't have much in complaints. And this is coming from a guy who's not super into color base. This is a phenomenal way of opening it. And I think it might just be my favorite track from Lumi so far. Also, I'm going to keep these semi-short, because there's 25 fucking tracks to go through. And I don't have all day. I also recorded this kind of late at night. Next is Encompass by Marshall, which is another really solid track. It's a fun little color-based number. I'm not personally huge on the B section with the sustain. That's about it. Also, I fucking love that second drop. Yeah, just a solid little tune. And some of the better stuff I've heard from Marshall. Definitely need to check out his EP. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, this is great. Next is In My Arms by Rejects Collective, which is another really good color-based track. I really like all three drops, even though I don't feel the heavy drop really fits, but it still sounds really good. The vocal sample's a little overused, but I like the way they used it. And the drops are all really well mixed, and I just love the sound design and the structure of them. Next is Hydrodynamical by Easy Password. Easy Password has been an artist who has grown on me immensely the past couple of months. I fell in love with his style ever since his first single, a pretty while back actually. And this is another really solid track of them. They're just kind of doing Easy Password things, which, I mean, I'm never gonna complain about that. This is easily in my top on the entire compilation. Next is Be Your Love by, I never actually know how to pronounce this artist. Ekil? This is the first one where I realize it's a really well-made track, but it's just not a style I'm personally huge on. Which, fair enough. With the amount of variety that's in this compilation, I feel like it's pretty much impossible for everyone to vibe with every single track, just because there's so many different genres and styles. Which is a good thing. My main gripe with the track is also just the drops feel a bit thin. Not empty, really, but just a little thin. Especially the second drop, which I think works for the style, so it's not that big of a deal, but I kind of wish it was filled up a little bit more. But overall, a solid track. Alright, next we have Interlog by Fax. This is the one where when I heard a preview, I didn't really know what to think of it, but it has grown on me immensely. It's one of the biggest growers on the entire compilation for me. Mainly because of the second and third drop, especially the second one. I do like the first drop. I think it is really solid and interesting, but that second drop is so good. It's easily my favorite Fax drop. And yeah, I think the off drops and the intro is really good as well. It's just a really solid color base tune. And again, this is coming from someone who's not really the biggest fan of color base. But the ones on here are really professional sounding and really well done. Alright, next is Moments by Cyberscythe featuring Yarusi? Yarusi? God, I'm so sorry to everyone I'm mispronouncing. This is another really good color-based track. I did realize that they kind of clumped all the color-based tracks like pretty early. A lot of the more heavier tracks are in the second half. But yeah, this is a really interesting one. I think the whole odd time signature thing was actually really well executed on this. It's really fun. The vocals also sound really good, but they're really, really far back in the mix. Where like without the subtitles, it's really hard for me to hear what they're saying half the time. But the vocals sound good, and the drops are really intriguing. They're a little more on the chill side. They're not really trying to be super in your face, which, you know, works for this track. I think Phil's trying to be more melancholy and more relaxed than anything else, which I think works. Next is Nightlife by Styx and Fable. This one just sounds nostalgic, in a good and bad way, in my opinion. It gives me that Electro House, old school Monster Cat vibes, which I really enjoy. I think the intro is really well done. My only issue is, I feel like they haven't done enough to modernize it, so it ends up just feeling like another old school track. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it doesn't sound as like compressed and really full as it could have done. But overall, the idea is super fun, and it's one I come back to a lot, just because the vibe is great. Yeah, this is a really fun tune, and yeah, I really like it. Ooh, next is Soda Pop by The Real Madman and Turbo Fury. Now, I did listen a fair bit to this before it came out, and fuck, I love it. I just love everything about it. The intro is super fun and bubbly, the drops are intriguing, and the sound design is so good. And I like the little switch up with the going from house to trap. It's just a really enjoyable track. Easily one of my favorites. Probably my top 5. Ugh, I love it. Next is Alive by Reflecting in ASCII? Is it ASCII? I think so. This is another one of my big favorites. The drops are just so fucking engaging with all the layering happening and the use of space. Ugh, it's so well executed. And he perfectly writes this border between melodic and heavy, which I think works really fucking well. Not much else to say, it's just a really solid tune. Nah, this track fucking sucks. Okay, to be fair, I think Alien Technology is fine. I think I like the main ideas I did for it, the flow and the sound design, but I think there's 2 major issues this track has. One, which a lot of people are pointing out, is the mix, and the fact that I didn't tame the high-end enough. Which I agree with. This track is like a year old, at least for the project file. And even with an EQ and Soothe, I feel like I could have done a better job of taming it. And for some people, it's just made the track impossible to listen to, which is fair enough. I'm also not the biggest fan of how it executed the second drop. I think the idea is there, but the execution was... But yeah, I think it's a fine track. I could have done better, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. Next is Supersonic Shock by Neo? God, I need to just learn how to pronounce these motherfuckers' names. This is another solid track. Not one I come back to too often, but I do enjoy it for what it is. I really enjoy the intro. The drops are really fun too. They're really glitchy and chaotic, but it's controlled in a nice way. But I don't feel like it does enough to really engage me, and just kind of ends up feeling kind of one note. But overall, I think it's fun. I think the sound design is really good, and the idea is really good too. Next is Dystopia by DMH. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard much of DMH stuff, but after listening to this, I really fucking need to. Because this is really good. This is just the definition of a banger. Like, the sound design is simple, but like executed so well. The structure is great. I love the intro and I love the drops. So much to say, this is just a straight up banger. Also, I fucking love the artwork. Next is a bit of a polarizing one for me. It's 1821 with My Dreams Don't Make Sense. This one's polarizing because when I listen to it in chunks, I really enjoy it. This has, in my opinion, the best drums of the entire compilation. It's so fucking groovy. I just love it. My only issue is really the vocal sample. Not the sample itself. A lot of people have pointed out that the whole Drake thing, but I don't mind that. My issue is, this is one of the longer tracks. I think like 4.5 minutes if I remember right. And the sample pretty much plays from the start to the end, which does get really repetitive. It's used in different ways, like it's chopped up in the second drop and stuff like that, but I feel like we could have gone some more segments without it or having been swapped out. Because of that, it can get a little repetitive after a while, but it's still really fucking good, and I love both of the drops. Next is Dusk Chasm by Makariko. I think that's how you pronounce it. In my opinion, this might be the most underrated track on the entire compilation. I rarely hear anyone talk about it, but it's one of my big favorites. Potentially my second favorite. It has one of the cleanest mixdowns on the entire compilation. While the idea is simple, it's so well executed. The use of space is amazing, and I just love that sound design. I just love the sinister tone to it all. It's so well executed. Definitely check this out if you haven't done yet. Next is Cuffed by X. A track which I was pretty unsure how I felt about in the preview, but I think this is this is the second biggest grower in the entire compilation. Like, it's not the most professional sounding thing, especially in the intro and off drops, but it makes up for that with really well executed drops. They're very simple and mainly rely on the same sound, but it's mixed really well, and while it's empty, it's still a super fun and heavy track, and has probably the most quotable pre-drop in the entire thing. The fucking Get That Guy sample is so fucking good. Something about it I love. So yeah, really good track, really fun. Next is Regurgitation by Sky. This is also a polarizing one for me because I love the idea and I love the sound design. My issue is really the mix. This like Neurostep, I don't know if that's the right genre, but this style is so fucking cool and the sound design is amazing. The only problem is I just feel like the mix makes it hard to know what I'm supposed to focus on, and it just feels like it's a little flat. But other than that, it's such a good track. Like, the idea is one of my favorites on the entire compilation. But yeah, the mix kind of just brings this one down for me a little bit. Next is Double Cross by Chumbo. So that's the thing, I like this track, but I'm very polarized by it. Mainly because in both drops, I love the A section, but really don't like the B section. Like, I love the sound design and stompiness of the A section in the first drop. But the thing that really ruins the B section is that sustain, or whatever we want to call it in the background, for me. It just doesn't feel like it really fits. But I do also want to get a shout out to the intro and off drops, because fuck, they're good. I especially love that lead, it sounds so fucking cool. I love it. So yeah, one I'm mixed about, but overall, I still like it and come back to it every once in a while. Not my favorite Chumbo track, but still a good one. Next is Gates by Iriarts and Laser Blue. Now this one had to grow on me a bit. It also had the typical Irie-esque sound design. And originally I was a little conflicted on how it sounded. But yeah, it grew on me a lot, and now I love it. It's pretty much just Irie doing Irie things. I'm not too familiar with Laser Blue's music, so I'm not really sure what they added to it. But overall, this track is fucking great. Good job to both of you guys. Next is Glass Flow by Arizonian. This is the biggest grower. I hadn't heard this before the preview. And listening to it, I was really unsure how I felt. But now I love it. It's one of my big favorites from the whole thing. The first drop feels a little more controlled. It's still really fucking gritty, but it feels more controlled than the second drop. Because if you know the second drop, that shit's fucking chaos. In the best way. Huge fan of this one. So well executed. Next is Don't Control Me by Eskv. It's Eskv. Do you really think it's gonna miss? This is such a fucking good track. One of my big favorites. I don't know how Eskv keeps upping their game, but they somehow keep doing it. Not much else to say, it's Eskv doing Eskv stuff. Next is Purgatory by Cloudy. Now, I fucking knew this was gonna be great, ever since I fell in love with the remix they did for the remix competition. And yeah, it's amazing. It's stompy color bass. The drums especially are so good on this one. The drops are really well mixed with a fair amount of variation too. It's just a really fun track, and one of my favorites of it. Next is Homesick by Syndrome. This is my favorite, easily. I was unsure how I feel when I first saw the preview, but it quickly grew on me. Easily has, in my opinion, the best intro on the entire compilation. That choir part makes me feel like I'm fucking ascending. And both drops are so well done. And I would say this is the most emotional track on the entire thing. The use of the vocals were really well done. So yeah, this is just insane. Probably my favorite track of the year so far. Well fucking done. Next is Read My Mind by Genesis. This song is fucking amazing too. I think it is the longest, correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't drag on at all. The drops are pretty pulled back and not super in your face, but I like that about it. I love everything about it. The intro, the drops, the midsections, and that fucking outro is so good. I would be interested to hear more of this melodic sound from Genesis, because it sounds really fucking well done. Next is Renipla? So I'm so fucking sorry. Wait, once I had a cold that broke my voice so bad, I was scared and never able to sing again. I'll be honest, I don't know how to feel about this one. Because I love these vocals. It sounds amazing. And then we get to the drop. And it's just kind of confusing. Like, I think the idea's cool, but I don't know. Like, even as someone who likes a fair bit of glitch music, I just don't really understand it. I think it's cool that they experimented with a different style, but I don't know how I feel about it, because with the intro I expected maybe like a future-based drop or like something. So yeah, just kind of a track I don't really understand that much. Music video's cool though. And again, I love the intro. I love these vocals. The drop is just weird to me. So yeah, that was my really quick review of Neoluminum Volume 2. I gotta say, this is fucking amazing. Because when I listened back to Volume 1, I know, like, it has its charm, but it doesn't feel professional at all, really. Except for a couple of tracks. Volume 2 feels like a professional compilation. Just with how all the tracks are structured, how they're mixed, it doesn't feel like a little friend project anymore, where they just kind of like throwing whatever at it. This feels genuine, and it feels really professional and well executed. Pretty much every track on there I can at least get some enjoyment out of, which I can't say for a lot of the other compilations made by bigger labels. And I am biased, obviously. I know a lot of these people, I talk to them, but I genuinely think this is some of the most forward-thinking and exciting music from this year. And yeah, I hope I'll be invited back to Volume 3 when it happens. And we'll see. I'm just really fucking proud of everyone involved, and I mean that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I might do more review stuff in the future, who knows? But yeah, this was fun. And again, thank you to Neoluminum for letting me be part of this, because this is amazing. And I'm generally super happy with all the work being done. Anyway, see ya.